Welcome back to my channel. We're heading over to the Minnesota Music Cafe. Today is December 1st. We got a blues, Minnesota Blues Society celebration. And hopefully I'll video the whole thing. We got some good music. I'm going to be meeting some new people. We're in St. Paul, Minnesota. If you Google Carlo James Lamanna, which is spelled Lamanna, you'll find over 10,000 local videos. I do music, live music, car shows, community events. I'm going to probably tribute a lot of today to my mother who passed away, who was born in Chicago. Virginia, thinking about her every day. And you'll see a picture of my mother, of course. So here we are. This is St. Paul, Minnesota, downtown area. That's 94, Highway 94 going east right there. We got the railroad right here. And up the hill to the right here, you'll see a sign, and that's where the Minnesota Music Cafe is. Right up there, right up the hill. So that's where I'm heading. There's a sign. That should be full of cars later on today. Hopefully you'll check in to my site, Carlo James Lamanna. And if you like live music, we got some good stuff in the Twin Cities here. A lot of good music. So stay tuned. This is East 7th Street. And see you soon.
Oh, there we go. He told me to take my time. I usually work in reverse. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Thank you for coming out to the Hall of Fame. The party. Yeah, we're having a party. It's our winter party. I'm a member. Is everybody here a member? Yeah, and if you're not, you know where to sign up, right? They do a lot. They do a lot. A lot of the Blues Society spends the whole year putting shows together, supporting music, going out to shows, bringing in, or helping to bring in some other acts, and there's all sorts of, it's a great organization, so if you're not a member, please consider joining. I want to thank a sponsor. We have a new sponsor, the Artist Shop. Let's give it up for the Artist Shop. They also coming up, before I forget, next Sunday, December 8th, at the Blues Saloon, is the last Road to Memphis fundraiser. We're sending Brother John and Friends as the solo duo act, and Dylan Selfer Band as the band. And on that fundraiser, they will be performing along with last year's attendees, Josh Quinn and Jimmy and the Band of Souls. So that's next Sunday, 1 to 6, Road to Memphis fundraiser. This Hall of Fame, it's the 17th annual. Amazing, amazing. If I recall, I think the first one, help me out, Jake, was the one with Mojo, right? Mojo Buford. We inducted Mojo Buford. At Whiskey, it was at Whiskey. I remember. I think I was up there with him for a while. I've got a picture of Mo smiling. That's the best picture to ever have. We have, we split it up, right? You know that we split it up. We had one Hall of Fame ceremony earlier in October, which was a lot of fun, a huge success, and we're having the second half of it along with our party this year. And I understand there's some food coming. Somebody's, it's catered, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. On the next way by, she's going to give me the next tidbit that I have to say. Cookies? Did you say you made cookies?
No.
No cookies. Oh, she's making cookies for next week. I bet you there's a silent auction.
Yes.
There we go. So she'll have cookies next week.
No, I'll have caramels.
Oh, caramels. Are they this special kind?
They're special to everybody who
They're special to everybody who buys them, yes. All right. Thank you. Oh, by the way, thank you, Bill, for being the president of the Minnesota Blues Society, the new president. And yes, I personally want to thank the Minnesota Blues Society for providing 84 harmonicas for the Nova Academy's second grade class this past January, where my granddaughter didn't ask. She told me that I would come in and do a demonstration for her class. And she was like, her teacher, I don't know, the music teacher, they had something on with harmonica, and she said, oh, my grandpa plays harmonica. Started yapping a little bit. And so, my thinking was the teacher was just kind of saying, yeah, you might have him come in sometime, Well, that night she calls me and says, you will be in on Wednesday, whether you know it or not, Grandpa. And I got a hold of the teacher, and it was a few weeks out because I had to plan it. But a part of it was 81 kids and a couple of teachers. We got free harmonicas, thanks to the Blues Society. And I gave an hour presentation 3 times in the same week. So I want to thank you personally for being a part of this society that is bringing music to children too, which is a great thing. So let's move this right along. Bill, is that long enough? Have I talked enough? All right, thank you. I know, usually people call me on my radio show, shut up and play the music, so you can say that now if you'd like. I know you listen if you do. The first receiver, the first award, is the Linda Tannenbaum Supportive of the Blues Award. Okay, I've got to look up to see who's doing the presenting on this. I would like to welcome to the stage Patricia Tribby to do the presenting for this award. And Rebecca Gullion Linquist is receiving the award. Put your hands together, please.
Good afternoon. Like many of us, Rebecca's love for the blues began while listening to the 70s rock bands playing blues music, and quickly grew from there. From the many blues cruises, concerts, festivals, and workshops that she has attended over the years, to her somewhat recent trip to the Crossroads, where she stopped in at a few juke joints, met some blues musicians along the way, possibly sold her soul to the devil. She returned with another stack of CDs to add to her already large collection that she shares with the listeners of her shows. And curating her shows is definitely her forte, with a lot of time and planning going into each show. Along with the great music that she chooses, Rebecca provides listeners with a wealth of knowledge about the artists, the songs, the albums, and more. She frequently features artists during their birthday months, respectively honors artists that have passed, and creates many themed shows, playing holiday blues songs at Christmas, a Valentine's Day show with songs about love and love gone bad, and always a New Year's show, because we all know there are plenty of blues songs about drinking and partying. In her show prior to Duluth's annual Bayfront Blues Festival, she highlights the musicians that will be performing there and others that have graced the stage in festivals past. When COVID hit and volunteers were not able to come into the studio, Rebecca figured out how to pre-record her shows and submit them to be broadcast during the Saturday afternoon blues time slot. She covered a good share of the weekly shows during that year, much to the relief of the few paid staff that carried the programming at the station. She helped keep Saturday afternoon blues healthy during the pandemic. And many times her show is rescheduled to coincide with the station's pledge drive week, because of the potential to tap into her popularity and her large listening audience. Personally, I love listening to her shows, and I feel fortunate that she spins the blues for us. Rebecca is definitely keeping the blues alive. And with that said, it is my great honor and privilege to present the Linda Tannenbaum Supportive of the Blues Award to my friend Rebecca Linquist, and congratulate her on her induction into the Minnesota Blues Society Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Patty. That was really lovely. And thank you to the Minnesota Blues Society, to Bill and Dan and Sue and everyone else here who was involved in deciding that I should receive this award given in the name of Linda Tannenbaum. I never had the opportunity to meet Linda, and I'm sorry for that. From speaking with the folks who knew her, I understand Linda was passionate about the blues and thoroughly devoted to the Minnesota Blues Society. So I feel especially humbled to receive this award. My first show aired almost exactly 12 years ago, on December 12th, 2012. At that time, I was very excited, and I put a lot of effort towards that first show. There was so much great music that I wanted to play, and it was hard to pare it all down to a single 3-hour show. That's about 42 tunes. And that first show, I was totally on my own in the studio. I had no support, nobody to back me up if I ran into a glitch. Needless to say, I was nervous. My hands shook so badly that I could barely load the CD players with the music. And the only way I could activate my voice to do my announcing was to state the time. Fortunately, there was a clock directly in front of me, and I'd look at the clock, and I'd go, it's 12:32. And this is Saturday Afternoon Blues. And then I was okay. That first show was both the most terrifying and exhilarating thing I think I have ever done. And I was hooked. When one is spinning tunes and speaking into a microphone from a tiny broadcast studio in the basement of a building on the University of Minnesota Duluth campus, there are two things that, even after all these years, I still have a hard time internalizing. One, that what I am doing is actually broadcasting over the airwaves, and two, that there's anyone out there actually listening. But as it turns out, over the past 12 years and some 235 shows later, blues lovers have been listening. Show after show, they tune in to 103.3 FM for Saturday Afternoon Blues, and apparently, like me, they also care deeply about the great music. I take my avocation as a volunteer DJ pretty seriously. I feel I have a responsibility to present the blues in all of its genres, and there are approximately 30 of them. I love to connect the dots between the songs, the artists, and the history. As an example, you all probably know that fellow Hall of Fame recipient, Paul Berry, and Paul is here this afternoon, is a mentee of the late, great William Clark. But I doubt that most of my listeners know that unless I tell them. And I think it's important to share that kind of information on my show, because in doing so, we all become richer in our understanding of this iconic American music. And by the way, if you have not already done so, treat yourself to Paul's award-winning biography of William Clark, Blowin' Like Hell. It is a great read. I've discovered that there is a blues song for just about anything you could think of, including football and Groundhog Day. So I curate my shows to reflect the seasonal events. As Patty told you, I have shows for New Year's Eve. I call it my Celebration Libation show, and it's 3 hours of drinking and partying songs. It's one of my favorite shows. I do a show on Valentine's Day that, covers every aspect of love, both good and bad. I have a show for the fishing opener, the end of summer, and so on. My show in 2 weeks will feature Christmas blues, Sonny Boy Williamson, Earl King, Lightning Hopkins, as well as a number of contemporary artists. It's the only time of the year I get to play all those great blues, otherwise they go back into the file drawer, I also think it's important to acknowledge and pay tribute to the passing of blues artists. This past year we lost W.C. Clark, Phil Wiggins, John Mayall, just to name a few. And my post-election show showcased the power of women. With songs like C.J. Chenier's Man Smart, Woman Smarter. Francine Reed's Wild Women Don't Get the Blues, and Lori Morvan's Living in a Man's World. And I put a lot of effort into that show. I was ready for a celebratory show and I had to regroup, unfortunately. It's also extremely important to showcase our local homegrown blues artists. Doug Otto, Hurricane Harold, Aaron McCauley and her Harrison Street Band, Steve Vandahar, Lisa Wanger, Joanne Parker, the list goes on and on and on. If you play good music, and I have it, you get airtime on my show. I think that's really important. We're all sitting in this room today because the blues resonates with us. It captures our mood, it lifts our spirit, and I have to ask, is there any other music genre out there more fun to dance to than the blues? I don't think so. I haven't found it. I conclude every one of my shows by saying, it is my honor and joy to spin these blues for you. And I truly mean it. Quoting a 19th century German poet, Bertold Auerbach, music washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. And so a few times a month, I sit in a tiny basement studio for a few hours and I attempt to help my listeners do just that. Wash away a little dust from their everyday. And hopefully in doing so, I also bring some joy into their lives. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much for acknowledging me and my gig as a volunteer blues DJ. This induction into the Minnesota Blues Society Hall of Fame means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Come on, give it up one more time.